Hey there, this is Daryl from the Jackson Fishing Team, and today we're going to tie up a fifth fly of our 6 fly series for Speckled Sea Trout, and we'll take a look at it. It's a Bendback. I understand that originally these Bendbacks were tied for largemouth bass or for smallmouth bass, I'm not sure, but they were tied up for bass, I understand, for the first time. And they just migrated out into other species. And so let's take a look at it, and we'll explain the materials as we tie my variation of it. All right. This is my take on a Bendback, and we're going to go ahead and tie it up. It's using primarily a lot of synthetics, no natural materials, and so let's get tying. And I'll explain the materials as we go along. The hook I'm going to use is a Umpqua Bendback XS 432 in a size 4. And I will debarb my hook. And I'm going to place it in upside down, because most of the tying is going to take place is in this section right up under here on there. The thread I'm going to use is some Danville's fine monofilament, and we will start our thread just behind the eye of the hook, and then I'm gonna, oh wait a minute, I forgot a step. I'm gonna make this one have a little weight, so I'm gonna use some fine white lead-free wire and 0.015, and I'm gonna give it just roughly 15 wraps. We'll wiggle that off. Just kind of squish it together. Keep it on that downhill slope. Now, excuse me. Now we'll wrap our monofilament. And we'll trim off this excess. We'll kind of secure our lead in there a little bit better. Now you don't have to use lead, you could use just the weight of the hook. But I want this one to sink a little faster. And I'm going to take it back down. Next material I'm going to use is some mini Flatbraid. And we'll tie that in. And this is primarily just to cover the lead wire. You don't have, this could be optional if you weren't going to use any lead weight. And we're just going to cover this up for the body. Alright, now I'm going to just stop my thread right about where it's kind of flat right there. And I'm going to use some Supreme hair in white. And it kind of comes in a, you know, kind of burnt on that end, so it's melted together. It's kind of like maybe a monofilament type thing. And I've got some right here that's already been using. And I'm going to make sure that my ends are tapered a little bit. It'll be otherwise flat. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. So I'm going to taper this just by pulling on the fibers a little bit. And then we're going to want it to be at least 2 hook lengths long. And then we'll just tie it in right here. And I'm going to put one right under there. Now I'm trying to keep that material on top of the hook. And then I'm going to trim this off right there. And then I'm going to just add a dab of super glue. In this case I'm using Zap-A-Gap CA. Next material I'm going to use, going to add a little bit of flash, even though that material, Supreme Hair, might give it some. I'm going to use some Wing and Flash Ice Blue Pearl. And it kind of comes in and looks like this. It's pretty fine, kind of webby. You can see that. And I'm going to kind of just make it look somewhat uneven to that. And I'm going to try to match this up to that bottom wing there. And then I'm going to take a thinning scissors like this, and I'm just going to cut that out. On there. Next I'm going to use is the Supreme hair again, but it's going to be in shrimp pink. It's very light pink. It almost looks like it's white when you thin it out on there. And I'm going to tie that on the top of that flash. And then I'm going to pull this over, and I'm going to cut it again with that funny set of scissors like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to whip finish. I know this is probably kind of weird, that I'm going to leave that over the eye. And remove my tying thread. Next I'm going to use is some fish skull fish mask, number 4. And you can use that on hook sizes number 4 to number 8. And it's just a little piece of plastic that you can glue your eyes onto. And I'm going to add a little super glue. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's kind of a thinner, thick area, and I'm going to make sure that it goes down in there. Make sure it's level. And that super glue will hold that head there. And next I'm going to do is use some fish skull living eyes in earth. And these fish skulls, they have a recessed area for these to go on. So I'm going to apply a little super glue into that recess. push that down with the back side of my bodkin. They're kind of handy. You can also get them with weighted where they're kind of made from some type of a metal. And if you wanted to have your fly sink a little bit more. And then I'm going to put a little super glue on top of that. And the other one, this kind of like locks it in a little bit better. It might make it more fish proof, but you never know. Fish will still figure a way to hit it hard enough to take those glued on eyes off. And next I'm going to use is a Copic pen or marker in a pink, it looks like. I'm going to put some bars on it. You could do that if you want in any color. I'm using pink, and or you might not even need it. You know, you make the fly you want to. And there you have it. My Bendback fly, shrimp fly. Could be a pink colored minnow, who knows. But anyway, it's what I tied. And hopefully you'll give it a try. And these little fish skull heads are pretty nifty. Alright, I hope you'll give these a try. If you've never tied Bendbacks, you don't have to use the fish skull. You could just maybe even not put eyes on it. You could probably glue the eyes onto the thread material and then fill those in around with epoxy. But hey, do what you want to do with this Bendback fly. You know, might use some other colors than what I used. I'm looking for a shrimp type thing for it. So anyway, I'm Daryl. We'll see you on the water. Okay. Hopefully you'll tie them and share what you want with it.